Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. This is a young-ish Frisian, Ashton. He's been in training with me about 6 weeks. He came not atrocious on the ground, not like miserable or anything like that to handle, but just pushy. Just a little bit pushy, a little bit on top of you, a little bit high-headed, too close, all the standard things. So at this point, he does have a lot of the skills that I want. He had a few days off because of where the weekdays fell, and then he went home for a couple days for some care, like some work that they were going to do. And so now he's back after just a tiny little mini vacation, maybe 5 days. And he was sort of up when he got to the barn, and we put him in his stall. We got him out to work him, and he was just kind of up. So I'm just reviewing all the groundwork that we have done to help him settle back in at the barn. And it might look like I'm just walking along, like, what are you talking about? You're just leading that horse. But there's actually quite a lot going on here. You'll notice that I'm not close to him, probably 5 feet from him. So he has good self-carriage in terms of the distance. He's not on top of me. He's also keeping, for the most part, it's not perfect. He kind of comes in and out of that. But for the most part, he keeps a bend in the direction that I want. He's also not getting way out in front of me, not falling way down behind me, not getting too close to me, not dragging way out away from me. He just is understanding, like, okay, this is where I fit around you. You'll see that I have him in a shoulder in right here. So that takes some skill. That takes some skill to get a horse in a shoulder in on a loopy halter. That means that he is reading my body. He's reading where I want to get in and influence his body. Now we're coming up on a little bit of a scary spot here. There's a big dark hole behind that fence, behind that wall, that arena wall. And there's always stuff going on out in the parking lot. And so there's a little bit of a scary spot there. So he was like, oh, I'm a little worried. And I let him take his time there. I didn't pressure him. Now, if he had jumped on top of me or something like that, which is what he was doing when he first came, I would have done something different. I wouldn't have been quite as just allowing. But I thought how he handled that was fine. I was just fine with that. Now, right there, that was partially good, and then there was a mistake. He read the way that I wanted him to transition downward a little bit with his front end, but he didn't read that I wanted him to put his hind end away from me. So we had a little bit of a correction there. And here you'll see a really pretty shoulder in. So when you put a horse in a shoulder in like this on a loopy rein, on just a halter, it shows that you have control left to right, so the bend, the lateral placement of the horse, and front to back, because if you don't have control front to back, they either run through it and go too fast so that they're not in a shoulder in, they've just run out in front of you, or they're dragging behind you. And he has some mental and emotional self-carriage here. He's not falling on me, he's taking care of himself, and he has some physical self-carriage here because of that shoulder in. And I work both sides. And I think in a minute here I'm going to go ahead and take it up to the trot. I do work them in walk, trot, and canter, but the canter work is not quite the same as the walk, trot work. It's very close in that you're going for the same thing. You want front to back control, so speed and balance. And you also want left to right control. So what horses like to do in the canter is, lean to the inside and go too fast, usually. Sometimes they pull to the outside. Yep, I'm about to take it up to the trot. So we're going to get a little bit quicker here. I think I want that left hind quicker because the left hind is the gluiest and least coordinated leg on this horse. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I work him. And that time I revved up some energy before I asked for the yield so that I could help him with that left hind. Now we're going to get a yield of the tail and a moving over of the shoulders. And I love that moving off. He came forward, he stayed off of the line, he lifted up his shoulders, he put his put a little bit more down, he didn't run too fast, he didn't fall on me. There was just a lot of good things happening in that one. Yield, and right here I'm asking him actually to transition to walk instead of go to the trot, because I need to get around that jump. And then I have to move his shoulders over again. So that was very skillful of him. He got that all quite well. You can see his posture changing there. He's getting a little bit more relaxed over his top line, even right there by the scary door. So I'm going to work him here by this scary door just a little bit. I'm going to move his shoulders into that scary spot. And I'm going to hammer on him a little bit right here. Okay, that was not grievous, but he pushed his shoulder at me, and he pushed his rib cage at me, and he pushed his hip at me, and he got too close to me. Now I'm yielding him to emphasize, you must be ready to move your rib cage over. So most horses are worse and pushier on the left, because we lead them from the left and they get really pushed into us on the left. So now I want him to move his feet and get his shoulder and his rib cage away from me. And now if I was being really picky, I might ask for more, but I think I'm taking that because I feel improvement and effort. So with horses, you have to make a judgment call, whether you're going to take their effort or whether you're going to get pickier and ask for more. And what you want is you want to find that sweet spot where they're getting better and they're feeling successful and they're stretching, but they're not getting frustrated. So you have to be good at knowing how much to ask and when to take the good. See, I love that bend there. So I allowed him to come down to the walk because I was really happy with that bend to the left. Now I think what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to move him off this left side away from the rail, which is a little bit like a leg yield away from the rail. There we go. All right, this video is getting really long. I'm going to go ahead and cut it, but I just wanted to show a little bit more about what I do with horses on the ground.